The abundance mindset offers a transformative philosophical perspective, fundamentally contrasting with scarcity beliefs. It centers on the sufficiency of resources and opportunities, emphasizing the intrinsic value of people over money, and the principle that wealth is a byproduct of providing value. Embracing an abundance mindset shifts focus from limitations to possibilities, fostering belief in ample resources and success for all. This approach facilitates a shift from pessimism to optimism, viewing the world as filled with opportunities rather than constraints. It can create win-win situations where success is shared and not at the expense of others. It aligns with the growth mindset, which suggests that abilities and success are not fixed, but can be developed through effort and perseverance. The abundance mindset can fuel personal and spiritual growth. It's about more than financial success. It's a philosophical approach to life that embraces positivity and potential. Cultivating an abundance mindset is a pathway to attracting wealth in all aspects of life, redefining success beyond monetary terms. It's a mindset that opens doors to a more fulfilling and prosperous life. So I want to start with Bob. How has adopting an abundance mindset impacted your life?
Greatly, I would say. So I came from sort of modest means. I was raised by a single mom, and what I would, I guess, classify as a lower middle class neighborhood. And she always worked for nonprofits. So my mom was always scraping by, did a wonderful job of raising me, but I really didn't have role models who were entrepreneurial or were wealthy. So I don't really know where this came from, but I just had an innate instinct within me to live a better life, which is what led to that sort of personal growth journey that I mentioned earlier. I want to talk a little bit about you mentioned at the top of the show and a couple of different points here that quite often this abundance mindset is lumped into a category that by some might consider woo-woo, and that is true because affirmations, meditation, journaling, a lot of people put them in a spiritual category, and it's tied into law of attraction and frequency, and I know that Tony there was just talking about his Reiki, which is definitely an energy working type of thing. But I like to, and I think that all that's very possible. If you study quantum physics, it's very possible that your vibration attracts like, but I like to, but there are some people that turns them off. And so I take a very practical approach to this, especially when it comes to affirmations and positive self-talk and positive thinking. It can work on a very practical level. I'll give you a really just a personal example I think we can all relate to. Years ago, I purchased a Honda Element, which is a very specific make and model of a car, kind of a boxy shape. And I had never even paid attention to Honda Elements prior to purchasing one. But once I started driving it, it's in my driveway, I'm driving it every day. Suddenly I start seeing them everywhere I turned around. There's another Honda Element. I'm going, where in the heck did these cars come from? I never even noticed them before. Well, of course, you know the answer. They were always there the entire time, but now I'm seeing them because they're top of mind. The filter through which I view the world has been influenced by them, and therefore I'm seeing them. So and that's a very practical concept. You don't even have to think of it as a woo-woo thing. And so I think it not only works that way with makes and models of cars and shapes and colors, it works that way with our attitude as well. And whether you're predominantly are you looking for obstacles all the time? Because if you're looking for reasons to be offended and all the unfairness in the world, you will see one example after another, because that's how your filter is wired to view the world. However, if you have more of an opportunity mindset, you remind yourself, you express gratitude for the things that you have. You said there are opportunities here, I'm going to find them. Then you're going to see those opportunities, and life is going to be a lot better. Some people say that's delusional. You're burying your head in the sand. I don't think so. I mean, we don't deny the challenges of life or turn our back on them. We fully feel that life is full of a lot of pain and suffering, and we totally acknowledge that. But I think we can also train our brains to look for the positive and lead happier lives. And that choice is really up to each one of us.
It's a great insight. I have to share that I have a friend who in New York City, she always parks like right in front of the place where we're going. And I could not figure this out. So one time I asked her, I said, how is it that you always park right in front? And she said, I give thanks on my way there for a parking spot really close to where I'm going. And then it just happens that I
Mm.
find one. So I have started doing that, and my kids laugh at me. But I have parked for free in New York City, which is incredible. So I want to ask Cliff, how is it that you encourage your clients to shift from a scarcity to an abundance mindset?
Well, I just first ask them, how are things going for you with a scarcity mindset? Do you like the results that you're getting in life? And the reason why I know what that answer will be is because I used to have a scarcity mindset. I grew up uh, with a very poor view of what is possible in this world. I used to have a hyper fixation on my problems. I used to have a habit of blame and criticism of all the things that are working against me. And as a result of that scarcity mindset and, everybody else is hoarding all the wealth or whatever, all of these things were not leading me to a life that I wanted to experience. I felt very much limited into what I could earn, what my potential, what is possible for me. However, um, it was through the book Think and Grow Rich that all of a sudden I was at least confronted, or I might even say affronted, in my belief system. And I was warned to stay away from self help and personal development stuff because it leads down a slippery slope that will lead you astray from the straight and narrow of my fundamentalist Christian upbringing. And and I will tell you, I struggled with that for quite a few years. However, what I recognized is there were some people that pretty much shared my faith, at least the aspects of my faith that I found foundational, and yet their lives were completely radically different, and they seemed to be huge fans of like Think and Grow Rich and certain self-help gurus. I won't mention any specific names right here, right now, but what I will say is, like, I'm blown away that this Christian successful business owner who has achieved so much, that you actually read these books and you recommend that people read them, and that just gave me a freedom. It's like, listen, okay, if they can read it and turn out this way, as for from my perspective, if I could live a life where I'm achieving the way that they do, I'm giving and serving at the level they do, and with integrity and character and with the type of values that I have myself, well, it hasn't led them astray. Maybe astray from some non-fundamental beliefs that I have, but I'm willing to explore. And that's what happened. And I will tell you that it has radically uh, brought me to a process of deconstructing practically everything I picked up prior to 2020 and reconstructing my beliefs along the way. So from 2009 all the way up to 2020 was this slow journey of just slowly eroding away my scarcity mindset, my old belief patterns, and all of this other stuff. But then 2020, I don't know if you guys remember, there was something that happened that year that gave us a lot of time, a lot of free time at home to read, study, and think and grow. And boy, did I experience a radical shift and a radical transformation. And that was the first time in my life that I ever opened myself up to reading things from different faith perspectives, such as Eastern philosophy and Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, and uh, Sikhism, and actually meeting people online from all of these different faith traditions. And I'm like, wow, there's a whole different world here. And yeah, to say that I got deep into that is an understatement. And what I've witnessed through my life, I'm like, listen, my life is so vastly different today. I can't imagine anything that I would put my heart to that I desire that's not possible. I can't imagine any problem where I would not be able to face it and say, what does this make possible? I have found a place where, because of this new abundance mindset, this new anything is possible mindset, and I come from this both from the practical side, but I'm also way comfortable today in the woo woo. If you would have asked me, Andrew, if you would have asked me 3 years ago to be on this panel, I would have said no just out of principle because my beliefs and values at the time would not allow me to participate in such a discussion as this. But I'm as far as woo woo can get these days. And quite frankly, I don't try to lead or steer any of my clients towards the woo-woo side, but I do help them understand the limits of the scarcity mindset. And if you and I don't think you have to give up your fundamental doctrinal beliefs for you to explore. Matter of fact, I work with a lot of folks who are pastors and deeply devout Catholics and Protestant Christians, and I can show them the law of attraction right there in the Bible, a minimum of 25 verses. And so all I do is I go through and show, hey, you might have a problem with so and so because of some of their character traits that don't seem to resonate with you very well. But let me show you where the Apostle Paul, where John, where Jesus talks about this law of attraction and thinking positive and be joyful always. And again, I say rejoice. And whatever is noble and praiseworthy and good, think about these things. I could go on and on and on. And so that's what I do is I help them through that. And they are able to get out of that mindset of scarcity, that mindset of guilt, that mindset of shame and fear and anxiety and worry about how other people will perceive them. And as soon as they get outside of that lower level of consciousness, then an entire world of opportunity is just opened up to them.
Well, it speaks to the importance of keeping an open mind. James, can you share an instance where adopting an abundance mindset led to significant growth or a turnaround in a business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Cliff and Bob, I came from modest means. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I was the son of a plumber, but never remember wanting for anything when I was growing up. It seemingly felt like I always had everything that we needed, even though there were 6 of us living in an apartment. And I actually slept on a pull-out bed in my living room with my brother, didn't even have a bedroom. And again, it was just a happy, fulfilled life. I wrote an article back in the Princeton Journal about the authentic network. And it was about paying it forward. You know, it was about doing the right thing is always the right thing. And when you're in a position where you can help others, simply doing it, not because there's something in it for you, but because it's the right thing to do. Andy, you were here, and I work for Gary Vaynerchuk, who's all about the honey empire here. We are a people over profits entity here. It's demonstrated in things like voluntary turnover rates, which are so woefully less than industry averages, not because we're overpaying people or because we have the best facilities or we provide the best snacks in the kitchen, but because we appreciate people for what they do. We try to help them find their sweet spot. And if they're out of position, we work really hard to get them in the right position rather than simply exit. Now, do we exit people? And the answer is, yeah, we do. But we even try to stand them up on the way out. There are times where we've placed people that just simply weren't right inside of our hallways, but helped to place them in other areas. So I'm a big proponent of seeing the glass half full rather than half empty, and that's tough for a finance guy who's trained to be realistic, right? Part of what has been the challenge for me. I'm a New York State CPA. I started as an auditor. I worked at KPMG and Goldman Sachs, and this is a financial show. So, part of that difficulty was how do I help support the vision, have finances support the vision and not choke the vision, right? Cliff mentioned earlier about dreams. A dream without a plan is nothing more than a wish, right? So I remember when Gary hired me, he said, can you summarize what you do in a single sentence? And I said, yeah, I take dreams and visions and put them into action plans. And he's like, great, you're hired. I got a lot of dreams and visions. So that's what we've been working against here for the 9 years that I've been in the VaynerX world.
Life beyond the numbers. I did enjoy very much visiting the VaynerX headquarters in Hudson Yards. Let's move to segment 2.